And I appreciated that because it was like a cheat code. Like it was definitely a cheat code on, okay, yes, she's upset right now. I didn't do anything wrong, but yeah, she's upset. I still must, even though I didn't do anything wrong, I must still come. I must still come in, and it works. I love that about us that we got to that point early. So for me, I have always felt comfortable in our relationship. I always felt comfortable, and I was like, yeah, this is my person.
Welcome to International Love Story, the podcast about intercultural relationships. My name is Christina, and in today's podcast episode, I am going to welcome Eva, who's from Taiwan, and Sandhurst, who's from Tobago. They are both island kids, so to speak, and I'm so excited to learn more about them today, to learn how they met, and also the one or the others following them on Instagram, you will definitely see that the hobby they have is quite special as well. And maybe that's going to be part of this podcast episode as well. It's always going to be a surprise for me. It's going to be a surprise for whoever who's watching and listening at the moment. And with this being said, let's give a warm welcome to Sandhurst and Eva. Guys, go ahead, introduce yourself. Who are you? What are you doing? Tell us all about you.
Hi, I'm Eva. I'm from Taiwan and I'm a photographer and a free diver.
My name is Sandhurst, and I am a former model, former dancer, and I also am a free diver as well from the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago.
As mentioned, this is a big part of your life at the moment, doing freediving. In the little pre-talk, the little mini pre-talk we had, Eva was sharing with me already that it's more than a hobby. So she's actually going on competitions, and it's just, yeah, again, it's just so interesting to see what you're doing. Also checking out your videos. It's so aesthetic as well. And it's just completely different to anything I've ever seen before. So for everyone who's listening and or watching, obviously I'm going to link their Instagram profile in the side note as well as in the description of the video. But first question, as in almost all of my podcast episodes, how did you guys meet? Because as I understand, your cultural background is quite different. So
Yes.
tell me, how did it start?
Okay. Yeah, so we are actually from two countries that are on completely different sides of the world. And we met in the Philippines. We were both there to train at the Camotes Freediving Center. Eva was getting her instructor's certificate, and I was just there to, improve my depth. Now, for people who don't know, freediving is basically when you take a big, deep breath and dive underwater. It's you can fun dive with it, but there are also, competitive free divers who just go down a line and come back up, go down as deep as you can and come back up. So I was there to learn to go deeper. And how we met was actually on the first day of the program of the training. I had to learn to ride one of those mopeds, and I had never ridden one in my entire life. No, I'm 6'5", so it was this really small Vespa looking thing, and I just didn't feel confident. But I'm driving down this a dirt road on a remote island in the Philippines. This is not your tourist destination. This is like island life, and I see this woman walking down the road. And I don't know what happened, but I saw her and I did this. I was like, oh God, she's going to ask me for a ride. Because on this dirt road, the only thing there is the freediving center. So I'm pretty much sure that she's going to go to the freediving center. But I'm driving and I'm like, should I pass her? Should I stop? What to do? And I decide to stop. And I stop and I was like, hi, are you going to the freediving center? And she looks at me and gives me this most amazing smile. And when she smiled at me, Christina, I kid you not, a voice in my head was like, pay attention to that. pay attention to how you're feeling right now. And, she smiled at me and she's like, yes, I'm going to the freediving center. And I was like, I am so sorry, but I just learned how to ride this bike and I don't feel comfortable giving people a ride. And she looks at me quizzically and she's like, it's okay, don't worry about it. And she's making me feel so okay by not knowing how to ride this bike. But then I was like, yeah, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. And then I rev up the engine and dust, take off, leaving her in a pile of dust, basically. About, I would say, literally 20 seconds later, she showed up at the freediving center on the back of another guy's bike. And I felt so small in that moment, but that was our first meeting, well,
Yeah.
my first meeting.
Yeah, that's his version of the story. But to be honest, I saw him when we were at the airport. We literally took the same flight, and when we arrived Cebu,
Yeah.
you need to take like an hour drive to the port, and then take the ferry to that small island. So it's like a long trip. But I saw him again on the ferry, and I was like, "Oh, this guy, is he stalking me?"
Wow, I'm the bad guy. Okay. She's seeing me and I'm the bad guy. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. But he didn't notice me by that time. But I saw like he has some equipment, and I knew that he's a free diver as well. When he stopped by and talked to me on the dirt road, I was like, "Oh, no worry. I'm okay with walking to the dive school."
But what did you tell your friends? Because you see, she's being nice and all, but she told them. What did you tell them about me stopping to tell you I couldn't give you a ride?
Oh, because in Taiwan, like everyone has their own scooter. Everyone knows how to ride it. When he stopped by, I was like, you don't have to do that. You can just ride away. You don't have to stop by and then tell me, sorry, I couldn't have ride. I couldn't give you a ride. And then leave.
I was just being polite, okay? I was just being polite.
I mean, think about it. I mean, or to be honest, that wasn't her first impression of you. So that was her third impression. And you decided to just pass by and be like, hey, sorry, I can't give you a ride. Bye.
Right, right. So to me, that would be worse. It would be worse if on the third impression, you're just like that complete, ass just drive by. So
So I'm curious, Eva, what did you tell your friends after this happened?
It's like I told my friends, I met a weird guy. He stopped and then just tell me he cannot give me a ride, and then left.
meanwhile, I am here having an epiphanistic moment of love, and and she's like, okay, that crazy guy over there. Yeah.
And what I just love about this moment is that the emotions in that very moment for the both of you, the story is the same, but the emotions are completely different. I mean, the complete opposite. On the one hand, what a weirdo. On the other hand, oh, what a beauty. And I'm going to remember this moment. I have to remember it because it's special to me. That's just like, I mean, it couldn't be further away from each other. So obviously, like, what happened next? I guess you met at this dive center and you talked, or did you avoid each other because of this awkward situation you had beforehand? What happened?
No, the interesting thing is after we met at the dive center, she told me, she's from Taiwan, and I'm like, oh, I live in Taiwan, and that's when she said, yes, I know we were on the same flight. After that, we kind of just did a lot of small talk. I recognize that, she's beautiful, she's giving me a great energy, but at the same time, I'll be honest, I didn't pursue her because I was like, well, she probably doesn't date foreigners or she doesn't date black guys. Eh, we're here to do free diving. I was very excited about the, learning more freediving, and I'm sure she's more focused on her instructor course. So I never thought I would be meeting someone I would be falling in love with, you know. So I just thought, okay, pretty girl, nice energy, but it was just small talk after that, you know, for like about 4 days, 5 days, just small talk. How was your diet? What did you eat for lunch? Oh, I had this. 3 seconds done.
Just scratching the surface, basically.
Yeah.
On Tigo's birthday.
Oh, not Tigo's birthday. It was the dinner. Okay, so things changed. So the dive school had a big dinner with about 25 people. And she's at one table, I'm at the other table. And at one point in time, I guess she went to the restroom and I had finished my dinner and I went to wash my hands. She comes out of the restroom and we start small talking again. You know, what did you eat? I had the burger, you know. And then I was like, you know, and then she was like, did you try the pizza? And I said, no, I'm waiting for my cheat day next week to go have this pizza at Hey, which is a restaurant there on the island. To which she says, and I'm going to need you to clarify some things here. To which she says, oh, I'll go with you. The voice in my head says, make a note of that. Make a note of that. She just said, I'll go with you. So I said, okay, hold on. Let me make sure. So I say, oh, that's okay, but I was just going to go by myself. And she says, I want to go with you. And in my head, I'm like, is she saying that she's interested? What's going on here? But I've been on this planet long enough to know that women could invite themselves all the way into your room and just say, oh no, I just wanted to watch television. So I wasn't assuming anything on this one. I wasn't assuming anything. I just was like, okay, she may just want pizza. I will go get pizza. I will let you say what you were thinking, but
Because I've been hearing that like the pizza there is really good, and he said he's going there, and I don't have any friends. I don't know anyone there, so I was like, if you're going, then can I join you? I just want to try the pizza, and I think you're a nice guy. Like we can go to have pizza together.
see,
That's it.
So very, very, very innocent. I would like to try out that place. He's gonna go there. Let me just join him because that was my plan as well. And that's it.
and I'm like, okay, what? So yeah, that was. But for me in that moment, I was like, okay, let me get to know her more than beyond the small talk. Our conversations after that started to get a little bit more, you know, deeper, a little bit more personal, just to find out more about each other. Still know I'm interested, but just, you know, making sure that it's not just light banter anymore.
And that the pizza date won't be a disaster. So that you actually
Yeah.
know that you're like aligned and it's not going to be awkward when sitting together having pizza. So I guess this pizza date happened the week
Well,
later.
it did, but our story gets it's some winding roads here. Some winding roads. About 2 nights after this whole her inviting herself to have pizza with me, the owner of our freediving center, he had his birthday. So a group of us went to another restaurant to just chill and hang out. And I showed up early because I am always early. And she showed up later, but she came in and she was wearing this white dress and she was just radiating beauty, just radiating. And at that moment, I was like, okay, there is no confusion here. You are interested in this woman. You now need to start making, you know, moves here. And the reason why I had to do that is because she also had two other suitors. So I had to make it known that, you know, I was like, I wanted to get to know her more. So we sat down. I sat down at the table she was sitting down at, and her two other suitors were right there. Yeah. And, you know, we were just talking, you know, getting more personal, getting more into like learning about each other. I feel like from that point on, it was more clear on my end that, you know, interested, even though I had not said it to her. I don't think she picked up on that because she had her hands full with these other.
Right.
I'm so curious to learn how you felt, Eva, in that moment sitting together in a group and apparently 3 people being interested in you. Did you recognize, like, did you actually pick it up, or you were just like having a good time and just chatting and didn't interpret it much more into it?
So, because people are saying like it's a birthday party. That's why I dressed up. And when I showed up, I just realized that it's more like a casual thing. So I think I was the only one who wearing white dress. And the other 2 guys, they're more like friends. And then one of them is my instructor. Yeah, he used to be my instructor. So we were just like hang out and go to the party shop because we live quite close. Yeah. My instructor stayed right next to my room. So we dragged the scooter there together. Yeah.
I think what's missing here is that, she's so sweet. So sweet. But as she's saying, like, yeah, they were just friends. Like, another man can tell when other men are interested in her, So she, to this day, she's like, no, they were just friends. And I'm like, no, they were very much interested. But yes.
So we have some small talk, and then after a few drinks, I went to the bathroom, and then while I'm washing my hands, I tried to like set up myself a little bit, but I realized there's no mirror. So I took out my phone and I just tried to make myself look good. And I saw him. He was at the gate. And then
I was leaving.
yeah, he was leaving. And then he was at the gate and then like give me some like gesture like "You look good, you look good." And I just felt like, yes, he's sweet, he's nice.
This now puts us to the next night when it finally comes out. The next night, a group was supposed to get together for dinner, and you came with one of the guys.
No, during lunchtime, like it's a farewell party. And
Oh.
during the lunchtime, and then people are asking like, "Are you gonna show up at the party tonight?" And I said, "Yeah, I will be there." But for some reason, in the evening, my scooter doesn't work, so I had to like text one of
Mutual friend.
and I text her, "Oh, sorry, I have some problem with my scooter, so I cannot show up at tonight." She didn't respond.
Mhm.
And then after the dinner time, that's the first time he texted me. So we didn't have each other's contact.
Yeah.
Yeah, contact. And then so you found me in the group chat and then sent me the message. So here's the here's the language.
This is where the language communication got kind of messed up.
Yeah.
Because I wrote, "Missed you at the going away party tonight. Hope you're doing well." Something like that.
Missed you at
Yeah,
the party.
missed you at the party.
Tonight.
Mm.
I thought he's saying, "Oh, I miss you tonight. I didn't see you and I miss you."
Right. Like to miss someone. Like emotionally, like, oh, I missed you.
And I was like, what? What happened?
Oh,
I thought we are just friends, and then he's showing his interest.
So the weird guy's getting weirder, basically. Basically.
Yeah.
I'm interesting to hear where all this led. I mean, obviously it worked out the one way or the other. So I'm thinking, like, where's the twist? When did it finally happen that you realized, okay, we're on the same page and we actually really like each other?
I mean, it honestly came down to the final date. Well, the night before the final date, we met up with a group of friends, and it was 6 of us at the table. We were doing that whole like, oh, who are you interested in? Who are you interested in? That kind of thing. And I was pressing this guy next to me to really like to say someone, and he kind of copped out and said a lady who had left already, and he was like, "Well, what about you, Sandhurst? Like, who are you interested in?" I kid you not, I feel as if something in my head kicked me out of control of my mind. Like I just felt like I was set flying, and it said, and it made me say Eva without a doubt. And as soon as the T from doubt was said, I regained control. And I was literally screaming in my head, what the hell did I, why did I just say this out loud in front of everyone? This was not a intimate moment, or it was just Eva without a doubt. I'm interested in her. And she looks at me and she's just like, no change, just she's smiling. And I don't know if she understood what just happened, but I was like, oh crap, why did I do this? But after that, I think she understood, like, okay, he's interested in me. And she started to soften up because once we went on our pizza date, the next day when it was time for the date, we went on this beautiful, a small boat cruise around one of the islands. And the day was perfect. The water was clear. We were snorkeling and everything. And it was just too much of a moment that we were just like holding each other and,
Yeah, everything's so like
yeah,
so natural and smooth. So we're like
yes,
holding each other, taking selfie.
yes.
Yeah, and then after that fun dive, we went to have the
The
pizza.
pizza. Mhm.
Yeah, and he had his own pizza. I have mine. While we're eating, he said that, you know what is the best thing about pizza? And I said, what? And he said the crust. The pizza, all of it, it's a little bit too big for me. I cannot finish it all. So I usually leave the crust because it's tasteless. So
I love the crust, so it worked out because she would just eat the center and I would just eat the crust. And we looked at it more so like compliments instead of not having something in common. We were just like, okay, great. I can just have all the crust I want if I go out to eat pizza with her, you know?
yeah, so that's the last day, and the next day I left the island,
Mm.
and for me I was like, okay, this is nice to meet such a nice guy, but I know that both of us have our journey keep going on, so maybe just a nice sweet summer love, but that's it. I didn't expect more.
And this time I've already planned our children's names. So she didn't expect us to go further than that. But I, kept contacting her, kept calling her, texting her, and then I actually surprised her by coming to Taiwan. Like I was supposed to stay in the Philippines for a whole other month. And I said, no, I just met this amazing woman. I'm definitely feeling connected to her. And I need to show her that I'm actually like serious here, So I took a week off and I came to Taiwan. And I think that's when she realized, oh, you are very serious. You're not just a foreigner who is just trying to do things. You're trying to actually be something. So I think she appreciated that. And that's when we started really getting deeper.
Yeah.
I mean, there's obviously a difference between getting to know someone while on vacation, enjoying
Yes.
themselves,
Yeah.
meeting people. Everything is exciting. It's just like, yeah, you're like worry less and you just take it day by day. Whereas, okay, I'm back at home, or my
Right.
used to be setting,
Mhm.
and back in my routine. And this is
Yes.
what I understand what happened to you, that once at that time you were living in Taiwan as well, Sandhurst. Do I understand correctly? So you went
Yes.
back home, so to speak,
Well,
your home at
I
that
just
time?
went back for a week. I just went back for a week and then went back to Philippines and we kept contact. But once I returned to Taiwan, I live in Taichung, she lives in Taipei, and she was about to take on a job somewhere else, but basically after that, she moved moved to Taichung.
Yeah, we moved together
Yeah.
for and it was the second month.
Yeah, second month of us like knowing each other, we
Yeah,
moved in together.
but everything worked so well.
Yes,
So
yes.
now,
Which year did you meet? When was it exactly you two crossed path in this airplane?
It was May 20th, 2024. That was the date she told me.
yeah.
Yeah, May 20th, 2024.
And how does your life look nowadays? Because as I understand, you moved in very fast. You spent a lot of time together. You really, really, really got to know each other. So I'm
Yes.
wondering, how is your life nowadays? Also, when it comes to maybe cultural differences, I would also love to learn more about your cultural background.
We actually have a lot of things in common, and we're so in sync. I don't think there's really a huge, big problems for us.
Yeah, I agree. But to your question with the how has life, I mean, been different? It's different. So we actually have a very big age gap. Yeah, I'm 11 years older than her, which was a problem for me, not even her. Like it was a problem for me just because the number, it was just too big. And I was just like, I have a lot more life experience than, her. So I was, in the early days, I was very concerned about that. And then also I had been single for so long. I feel single Sandhurst was like, are you sure? Are you sure? Meaning like, I never forget the first time she said, I told her I'm going to the gym and she said, what time are you coming back? And I was like, wait, I've never had to answer to someone to tell them I'm coming back from the gym. So I feel like those small kind of relationship things were more the issues than culturally, because I feel culturally I've traveled a lot and I've interacted with many people from different cultures. So it was easy for me to identify when something was cultural relativism versus an actual fight or an actual issue. Like Eva, she's very soft spoken, and I feel like that's a Taiwanese trait. But in Trinidad and Tobago, we are expressive, we are, showy and loud. So there were times where I would get passionate and she would be like, you're yelling at me. And I was like, this is me being quiet. So I had to really realize, okay, when I speak to her, we can tone down the volume a bit. It's not that you're, changing yourself. It's that you are appreciating that this person comes from, a different culture and you are now expanding your ability to communicate to this person. I think that was one of the things that we had in the early days.
Also, the sharing food. Because in Taiwan we have the culture that all the dishes and that are in the on the table, so you just take everything anything you want and you're into your bowl or your plate. So we always sharing food, so you can try different food, different flavor. For him, he's like, I know what I want, and this is my food. Don't touch my plate. So in the beginning, I tried to when we were dating, I was like, I'm always asking, oh, how's your dish? Is it good? Can I try some?
Oh, no, 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 no. I will not let you lie on this part. Yeah. She would take her chopsticks and reach into my plate and take the food. And I am like, what is happening right now? When I was a kid, I was notorious for eating like this, with my hand over my plate. So my sister.
Wait, we have siblings?
Yes, I have.
Me too. Okay, because I'm the same.
Yeah, you do not do that, but she's oh, you're lying. She's like, oh, I asked. No, it was just reach in and eat like nothing was wrong. And I was like trembling because I'm having this conversation in my head. Like, she's my woman. No, I should let her eat my food, but I know exactly how much food will satisfy me. So if one bite is missing, I will be hungry after this. So yeah, I think that was one of the big things.
Mhm. I mean, but you can have her pizza crust. So this is what you've learned quite early
Yes,
in the beginning.
yes.
So
We're still learning this. Like we're still working on this.
I love that she's sharing, but you're more like, no, this is what I've ordered because I was actually really looking forward to it, and I know this will satisfy me. So
Exactly.
please keep like
I've become
chopsticks,
Yeah.
some chopsticks with you.
But now like because we have similar tastes, so I'll say, okay, you're ordering food for both of us. I have smaller stomach, so after I finish, it's all his.
So basically now I get 2 meals, which is great, but my body does not look like it used to anymore. That's the trade-off. You get more food, but you don't look like you used to do.
But you found a balance. So the piece is
Yes.
withhold
Yes.
within your relationship. No fights over food anymore. I just love that it's just such a difference as well between, okay, what you've just shared, Sandhurst, you being single for quite a while and having to adopt someone asking like, hey, at what time will you be back? Like just asking at what time can I expect you? Maybe you want to have dinner together or so whatever, and that was a switch for you to, okay, we are sharing our food, that's just like two things that are so different as well, that are funny if you think about it, that are, I
Looking
wouldn't
back,
say
no,
weird, but they're very special, and the one thing is related to a cultural difference, the other one is not. And I just love, and this is also why I'm doing what I'm doing, to learn more about the culture differences in general, and to learn more about such habits as yours, for example, because there's a lot of things you're sharing right now I can identify with as well. And sometimes it's just difficult to pinpoint, okay, is that a culture difference? Is this
right,
because of my
right.
upbringing, the way I grew up in general? Or am I just weird and that's just a weird behavior I'm showcasing right now? How long did it take for you guys to get to a point where you felt like, okay, now we really know each other? I mean, again, you moved in together very fast. You had to figure out the one or the other special effect or special situation, let's phrase it like this, right in the beginning of your relationship due to the fact that you moved in together. But was there a specific point where you realized, okay, that's my forever person. I always want to wake up next to him, next to her. We settled so much that we know each other 100%. Like, where are you at in your relationship nowadays?
I feel like we talked a lot. Every time we have issue, problems, or we just talk, we share our thoughts. I told him everything about me. When I have problem with my family, yeah, we share a lot of things. So I feel like he's the one knows me the most right now.
Communication is not a problem with us at all, and it has never been from the start. Anytime, in right at the moment you do something that the other person's not feeling good about or whatever, you address it. You address it right there. She told me how she is when she's upset, so I knew those pretty early on, like, okay, if she's upset, she still wants me to coax her, like even if she's mad at me, she still wants me to kiss her goodnight. Don't do the whole, well, she's mad, so I'm gonna be over here. Like she told me that immediately. And I appreciated that because it was like a cheat code. Like it was definitely a cheat code on, okay, yes, she's upset right now. I didn't do anything wrong, but yeah, she's upset. I still must, even though I didn't do anything wrong, I must still come. But I must still come in, and it works. I love that about us, that we got to that point early. So for me, I have always felt comfortable in our relationship. I always felt comfortable, and I think after January 3rd of this year, I think that's when I was like, yeah, this is my person. This is my person. I knew we're a couple who, when you say we do everything together, we do everything together, and we enjoy doing everything together. Some couples are the opposites attract, or he does his thing, she does her thing, and then we just come back in the air. No, we are like, we actually like doing everything with one another. And I'm the type of guy who, when I was younger, a lot of girls used to say, well, you're too clingy, you're too clingy, you're too clingy. So I assumed women did not like clingy men. And I trained myself to kind of be slightly a bit distant. So when we first started dating, she was like, I love clingy. I feel like, and she was very clingy to me. and I didn't know how to receive it because I had trained myself to not be clingy. So the first couple of months, I was like, why does she want to hug me and touch me and be in my space? Like this seems so unnatural from everything I had experienced in the past. And then once I finally realized what was happening, then I became very clingy. So it now works. Like we say, day clingy and night clingy. Like she's day clingy, I'm night clingy, and it works. So it, I just feel like at the beginning of this year, it was just like, you know what, we're pretty. We know this is it for us.
I also read between the lines right now a little bit, Sandhurst, if I understand correctly. You can be the person you are around her. So there's no
Yes.
facade you put out on, and there's nothing you're afraid of to speak out loud, and you know exactly how to communicate. As in many podcast episodes I've recorded, there's this one phrase that I'm so sure you've heard it a couple of times as well. Communication is key. If it's okay for you, I would like to do a little mini in-depth on this topic as well, because I'm curious as well to learn more about how you communicate, because I feel like if everyone so who's listening or watching right now can take some key takeaways from how you are handling specific situations. So first of all, I'm wondering if we talk about communication. I understand Sandhurst and you, Eva, you're both quite direct. You're not holding within, and you know exactly what you want. But how do you communicate what you want, and how do you know what you want?
In the beginning, I am not. No, I didn't know what exactly I want, but I just tell him I don't like this. I don't like that. So don't do this. And then he remembered all the things I said, even if it's just a small thing, and that made me feel good because I am like important for you, that you remember all the tiny little details. So just like when we have when I'm upset and then you just like stay close to me, that melt me and make me feel okay, I'm safe and he's not leaving me because I'm being bratty. So I am more like willing to tell him what's going on, what pissed me off, and I tell him like I don't like you do this. I don't like your tone. I don't like blah blah blah. So he said okay. And what is the thing that he didn't like? So yeah, I feel like that's how we communicate.
I think for me, or what I would say to people is you need to, one, understand yourself before you go into any relationship. Like you have to really know the good, bad, and ugly about yourself. A mistake that people make is that they forget they are not perfect. So we look at the other person and we say, oh, well, she doesn't like to do that, and she's not doing this, and she's not doing that. And there was a moment where, and I think this was the aha moment for me, like we were having a little disagreement about something. And then she said to me very calmly, you know, she pointed out something about me and it registered. Like I was like, oh wait, she's right. And then it hit me. I was like, you're not an easy person to get along with, or not get along with, but to live with. Though, like you have your things too. So it was at that moment I was like, oh, so no, don't jump down her throat if something is going wrong, if she's doing something wrong. Find out why she's doing it. Try to understand why she's doing it. Try to understand why she's having that response, so we could talk about it and figure this out. Because at the end of the day, anything you will say your partner doesn't do, da 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 da, they can say the same thing about you in other respects. So no, we're on equal footing here. And because we're on this equal footing, I feel like I look at her and I'm just like, okay, she is my best friend. I love spending time with her. I love doing things with her. And she's responding to me in the way that makes me feel safe, which for the guys out there, I think that is something that you really need to look for. A woman who makes you feel safe as well to be yourself and I have been alive for 39 years and I have met many women who have not done that for me. I cannot give this up over a small argument about, dishes. Not that we have arguments about dishes because I just wash the dishes. I don't even wait. She'll be eating something. She's done. I wash the dishes. I'm like, I refuse to have dishes be an argument. But I'm just saying that I look at what the argument actually is. If we're not having an argument about infidelity or betrayal, then to me, it's not, you know, earth shattering.
Nothing to get upset about and to go to bed grumpy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for sharing this. What I would like to add to this as well, because this is something I've witnessed, experienced within my community, but also privately, family and friends, is that sometimes you go into a relationship expecting that you will feel complete with the other person, that the other person will fulfill you. And that's, in my opinion, one of the biggest mistakes you can make because the other person will not fix you. And this is what you've said, Sandhurst, that you have to know yourself and know
Yeah.
what you want and be able to express what you want as well, obviously in a safe setting, which you've created over the past few months in order, yeah, to live a healthy relationship, to have this healthy relationship you guys are having. And I love that you're so open minded, that you've created this safe space. And thanks again for sharing this part of your love story as well, as I think that's very, very important. We really appreciate it. Moving forward a little bit off topic, coming from topic of communication, the relationship you've built in quite a few months, honestly. So where are you at nowadays? You've shared with me that you are in Portugal right now. You're going to celebrate Eva's birthday, so you'll have a little getaway, which I love. You're in Porto at the moment. What's your vision for the future? So what's next for you guys?
For the short term, we're training for free dive. Hopefully, we can participate the World Championship for next year.
Yeah, I think that's basically the focus right now. Which was not the original plan when we first started dating. It was like, and then we saw competition and it was like, oh, you know what? Why not? And then it turned out that she's exceptional at this. So I've been like her biggest cheerleader, with the trading and that kind of stuff. So this 2026 will be about, training, trying to get to the world championships, just to have that experience to say I did it. We also want to develop our social media because Eva is a photographer, amazing. Okay. I'm dating an amazing photographer, videographer, which means that anytime I take pictures or videos of her, they are not good enough. But she is amazing at it. And I'm a former model and television host. So being on camera is easy for me, and being behind the camera is easy for her. So we're teaching each other, how to do that. And I just think it's been great documenting our relationship, even though it is very public and we understand the problems with having public relations. But it's been great to look back because we love to look back and almost reenact certain moments in our relationships. Like, remember when? What were you thinking? What did you think? We enjoy the looking back and seeing the memories. So it's something that we want to continue doing. So building our social media but still training, still creating some beautiful underwater art is in the future, and definitely marriage. We both are very marriage minded. I am very family minded. She too. However, because of the age difference, I understand my baby. Yeah, I hate saying the word baby in this case, but I understand. She's younger than me, so she has. I would like her to enjoy life more in her youth, because I got to do that. I got to be young, and I just want to make sure before we bring another life into the world that she can say, you know what, I enjoyed it, I milked it, I'm now ready for the next phase, instead of this old guy here wants to get a kid. Like I don't want that. But that's in the future, marriage and kids.
working as a team together, traveling the
course.
world as far as I
Yes.
see. You've been to quite a few places together as well. And also, I would like to, before we end this conversation, learn a little bit more about your hobby slash profession, because I feel like it's much more than a hobby at this point, honestly. Also, as mentioned at the beginning, seeing how fast your social media account is growing, I feel like there's definitely a lot of potential which you're making use of. You're getting out there with those beautiful aesthetic videos. um, would you like to share more about this? What it is exactly you're doing on social media at the moment?
Oh, this is a tough one. So because we were both we are both free divers, and when I moved to Taiwan, I started free diving in 2023. But because I have a dance background, I found being underwater really lent itself to creating these amazing moments in movement. Things that you can't do on land. You can feel like a superhero, when you're underwater. And I love that. So when she and I started dating, she was not accustomed doing the underwater dance and that kind of stuff until we started dating. And I was able to teach her, how to, create the movement to create the lines with her body. And anytime we can get down under there and get a camera and just, maybe do some improv, some freestyle, it's always amazing for us to do, to have those moments because we actually enjoy just doing it and then producing it for the world to see. So I just feel like it's an art form that we are enjoying, and hopefully, you never know what could happen. I know Cirque du Soleil was looking for some underwater performers. Hey, we might, end up doing that. So we made a video recently. It was simply just supposed to be a funny little video about, relationships, and it ended with an underwater dive. And for some reason, it's just started going viral.
Yeah.
And our following exploded in the last like week.
Mhm.
Maybe there's something there.
Yeah, because I'm following you since, I wouldn't say a while because this account is not that old yet. You've
Yeah.
recently started doing what you're doing, but I see definitely how fast you're growing. And it's very interesting seeing it from that perspective as well, that you are able to share your passion and so many people are interested in, combined with
Yeah.
obviously your story as well, because in general you're interesting people, and the way you do it, it just feels so authentic and so real that it's really, like, really, really refreshing, really nice to follow you. And it's just, yeah, it just takes your mind off as well, like,
Yeah.
from the daily hustle and everything that's going on, and just seeing also. And for me it's quite obvious when watching your videos that there's a lot of love between you guys.
Yeah.
So I hope you'll be super successful, that all your wishes will come true with what you have in mind for your professional career, but also for obviously your personal next steps. I'll definitely keep on following you, and everyone who's listening or watching right now, definitely do so as well. It's so cool to see. I would like to slowly come to an end with this podcast episode. And I usually end this podcast episode with one question, and both of you, so each one of you is going to answer this question, which is your biggest advice. It can be any advice, it can be relationship advice, a life advice in general, a professional advice, anything you would like to share. So, what is your biggest advice, starting with Eva?
Because we're in Taiwan, we're in Asia, and I feel like interracial couple is not a common thing. So in the beginning, I don't like because people look at you. They'll like staring at you, and whatever you do, like they'll just look at you. And in the beginning, that makes me so uncomfortable because I am more accustomed being nobody instead of like under the spotlight. So be yourself and enjoy each other. Those people are not important to you. You can just ignore those sites. That's the advice I'm.
Ignore. Yep. I
Yeah.
agree with that. The advice I would give folks, and this is like a blanket piece, no matter where you're coming from, no matter what your background is, you have to always remember you are the architect of your life. You can change things. You can find a way to change things. You can't always say, well, oh well, these are the cards I was given. So, no, use those cards to make your life what you want to do, what you want. And sometimes you may think you were given a bad card, but that bad card is actually a good card for some situation. So don't look at other people and be like, oh, I wish. No, you can make your life. You are in control. You're the one designing this. There are too many stories about people who who came from nothing and built something because they were able to figure out, you are the architect of your life, so you can change it. And I think that's just a general statement for whether it's relationships, career, or, just happiness in general. You can always change it.
Thank you so, so much for sharing your advice, your love story, for doing a little in depth on the one or the other topic. I know it's always a little bit difficult to cover everything in just a few minutes. As mentioned, I will link your details in the side note as well as in the description. So for everyone who wants to get in contact with you, feel free to get in contact with them. Yeah, thank you for opening up and for making this whole podcast recording so easygoing for me. It was just really, really, really nice talking to you and getting to know you a little bit better, getting to know your background story as well. And yeah, I really appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Sorry. Yes. We were nervous, people, but thank you very much.
So, with this being said, for everyone who wants to be my podcast guest as well, no worries, nothing to be nervous about. I'm always nervous as well in the beginning as well. Feel free to contact me and just send me a message via Instagram on International Love Story or fill in the link below. I have a little form for you guys, and maybe one day we're going to sit together, like I'm sitting together with Eva and Sandhurst right now, and you will tell your love story. I would love that. And with this being said, guys, I'm going to leave you now to have your dinner date and to enjoy Porto a little bit and to enjoy Eva's birthday week, birthday vacations, and really appreciate your time today.
Danke.